for the 98th time, a new General Assembly has convened. I thank all my colleagues and the people of Missouri for the privilege of holding this gavel and allowing me to serve you in this office. Also, let me also thank at this time members of my family who are here to support me, as we all know, throughout this process and campaigning and being up here every 4 or 5 days for 4 months out of the year is a lot of sacrifice. And my mother and father, John and Carol Diehl, are sitting here on the side. So I want everybody to kind of welcome and thank them. And also my wife, Kelly, Sam, who is a senior at West Point. I'll be graduating this year. Josh, a junior at TCU, and Daniel, our 6th grader. Also, please welcome them, and please stand to be recognized. And up in the upper gallery, there's like a whole bunch of nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters. So come on, guys, stand up. You made the drive. So in our ranks this afternoon, we count 32 members from all walks of life. If you're like me, every day you walk in the chamber, you'll be inspired and in awe of its historic and timeless beauty. There's no experience quite like your first day as an elected legislator, and we congratulate each of you on your arrival. At our best, this House can be an impressive sight, and I hope this session will often find us at our best. As your new speaker, I pledge to do all that I can do to keep business moving along in the right direction and in the right spirit befitting of this majestic setting. When the two parties extend respect and courtesy to one another, that in itself can be a victory in politics. To the surprise of many of us are actually friends in this chamber, no matter which side of the aisle we're seated on. There's never a disagreement that can't be handled in a fair and friendly way. That's not the same as pretending we don't have disagreements. Of course we do. But if 6 years around the Capitol have taught me anything, it's that a little goodwill and trust can go a long way. We can disagree without being disagreeable. So much of our work here, after all, is carried along by consensus. By far, most bills that pass this House receive a substantial bipartisan majority. They don't involve Republican issues, strictly speaking, or Democratic issues. Often they just come down to the basics of good government, constitutional functions, and practical, attentive service to diverse districts that we represent. When those fundamentals are the focus, we can hardly go wrong. As for the broad direction of policy in this session, it seems to me that this has been set by the people themselves. The voters of the state of Missouri have sent an unmistakable message in November, delivered in person today by at least 117 of us. This session and beyond, I will add my voice and my vote to the decisive majority that the voters have given us. I come to this position as a frank believer in certain principles of government, starting with the preference for individual freedom over the power of the state. I'm skeptical of an ever-expanding public sector because I put my faith in the private sector and private enterprise, which is and will always be the true source of prosperity for our people. In any state, there's always a temptation for government to go beyond its proper limits, intruding on the rights and responsibilities of the citizen. We've been warned about this by among others, Ronald Reagan. Government, he said, cannot be clergyman, teacher, and parent. Government is our servant, beholden to us. That's a timeless piece of wisdom, and if we keep that in mind, we will always do right by the citizens of this state. In this legislature, let's avoid repeating the mistakes we've seen play out at the federal level, whether it's overregulation of the economy or the practice of living off borrowed money. These policies do not serve our country well, and they will not work any better here in Missouri. There's an ongoing competition among the states for investment, development, and jobs. And these days, it's getting serious, and it's too often a battle we lose. Like any competition, it requires discipline and, above all, spending discipline. Problems cannot be solved just by throwing more money at them and declaring mission accomplished. We must be good stewards of taxpayer dollars, and we must insist that our monies are spent in a more effective and transparent manner. By standing together in support of the families and businesses in Missouri, we will rein in the ever-expanding government bureaucracy and foster the freedom of workers and innovators to do what they do best. Together, we will provide the kind of opportunities that will encourage and foster economic growth and job creation. Together, we will challenge our educational systems to put students first and to graduate students at all levels who are ready to compete in the 21st century economy. And together we will work to ensure that the doors of opportunity are open to everyone who wants to and is willing to work hard to put in the work and sacrifice necessary to succeed. As this state moves forward, we want everyone to feel empowered to achieve their dreams, no matter their age, their religion, or their race. We want everyone to have a chance at a quality, functional education, to get ahead, their equal opportunity to participate in the economy of our state. No one in this room needs any reminder of how things can look when that kind of hope is missing. The national attention our state received last year isn't what anyone would have wished for. But the story and narrative about what is missing about Missouri is the goodness and character of our people. We live here. We see it every day. We saw it again during those nights in late November when some of our bravest and finest Missourians, against great odds, risked life and limb to protect the innocent and keep the peace in the midst of growing chaos. Among those many dedicated first responders were the men and women of the Ferguson Fire Department, the Metro North Fire Protection District, as well as fire departments from Pattonville, Maryland Heights, Florissant, and throughout the St. Louis and surrounding areas. These men and women endured violence and danger that night as they worked to keep the people safe by fighting the many fires that were set. They showed an unwavering commitment to their duties. Even at times, they were forced to drop their hose lines to take cover from gunshots fired and the debris that was being thrown at them. In the face of great danger, these brave men and women came together to work tirelessly as one, and their selfless actions saved countless lives, homes, and businesses. For their courage and commitment to service, we are forever in their debt. And we are reminded of the respect we have for all of our fearless firefighters, emergency personnel, and police officers who save lives and defend our communities. Joining us today in the upper gallery are Fire Chief Floyd Renner and Firefighter Dave Voles from the Metro North Fire Protection District, Fire Chief Terry Lurr from the Pattonville Fire Protection District, Deputy Chief Tim Dorsey from the West County Fire Protection District, and Mark Woolbright with the Association of Firefighters 2nd District. I ask them to please stand, and for all of you to please join me in honoring these incredibly brave individuals who put their lives on the line to protect our communities. And today, let me make this pledge to all of our public safety personnel and first responders, that this body will do its best to get answers to what happened that night. And as Speaker, I will do everything in my power to make sure it does not happen again. You know a place best when you love it, as every one of us loves Missouri. We wouldn't have sought offices campaigning on all of our different ideas if we were complacent, if we thought our state needed no improvement. This is a time of change and aspiration in Missouri, and a clear sense of purpose is always welcome in this old capital. Our agendas may vary, but our aspirations for Missouri are the same. So as we turn to our official business, let's gather up all that conviction, all of that creative energy, and let us achieve real things and make a real difference for the people who sent us here. I might add that one way to serve the people is to keep listening to them. And wisdom does not begin and end in this House or with government. And as we are setting this, and as we in this legislature set standards and rules for others to follow, let the highest standards we apply make the highest standards are the ones that we apply to ourselves. We should do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and not for personal gain or self-promotion. Do not take this time for granted, because the privilege that you and I enjoy is not forever. It will not be long before we leave this chamber, clear out our offices, and that will be that. And trust me, that time comes quickly. What better moment to think about your last day than now, here on your first day? We all want it said of us that we used our time well, stayed true to our principles, worked with one another, and that we brought only credit to the Missouri General Assembly. For this session at least, all that is a story which is yet to be written. No session ends as it begins, and today, I'm excited for the session that begins right now. If I might just add a thought to the chaplain's fine words, may we do our work with excellence and honor, and may the good spirit of the day still be with us when that work is done. Colleagues and friends, I thank you for the privilege of serving as your speaker. Thank you.